Hi everyone, Rachel Thompson here, the Smarter Mortgage Lady, doing my monthly summary. There's been quite a lot going on this month, and I thought that it was important to run you through some of the things that are happening in the lending market to try and give you some tips and tricks on how to do things smarter. So, lenders' timeframes have really pushed out due to the pandemic, and it's important that you really get your ducks in a row. So, pre approval before you buy is ideally what you want to do. And if that hasn't happened for you, then you want to be as tight on your time frame as you can to allow time to do things like get your KiwiSaver withdrawal, get a building report, maybe a registered valuation, etc. So 10 to 15 days for that due diligence period is going to be really key for you. Building reports, I absolutely recommend if you're buying a property that is in the weather tightness era of the 1990s to the early 2000s, that you look at getting a building report. But the reality is, if you're buying a property for hundreds of thousands of dollars, it makes sense to spend a few $100s to get an expert to check over that property for you. Planning for your future. If you are buying a house now, that's great, but what are you doing with your KiwiSaver and your retirement savings? And if you are not able to buy a property now, how are you going to put together a deposit? And what are you going to do with your budget in terms of having some savings put away, or looking at whether there's any surplus and spending less than you earn? That is a really important thing with regards to your budget, your income and expenses. We've got some clients at the moment doing, quite a few clients actually, doing top ups for renovations and debt consolidation. So people are finding that maybe the house they've got is not warm enough, maybe not dry enough, maybe not big enough, and they're wanting to add some rooms and heating, insulation, etc. So they're topping up on their existing mortgage to potentially do those renovations. And there's other people with short term debt, such as personal loans, vehicle finance, credit cards, that they're looking to use the equity in their home, top up, and hopefully get a loan with a lower interest rate, maybe keeping the loan term short and the repayments the same, and knocking that debt off quicker. Crunching the numbers, it's something I offer to do a lot. It doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of time. If you can provide me with information such as what your deposit is, what your income is, any short-term debt, maybe how many dependents you have, and what you're looking to do, what your plans are, I'd love to crunch the numbers for you, because how do you know whether you can do what you want to do? Parents helping kids. So there's a few different ways that this can be done. One of the best ways to try and do it is, if you are getting help from mum and dad, is to try and keep them out of the lending application. They're at an age and stage of their life where they may be looking to retire soon, maybe reduce their risk, but at the same time they're wanting to use their position to be able to help their kids. And I'm in the business of educating the parents as much as I am about educating the kids. I utilised some equity in my parents' home to buy my first home with my sister. So I know a little bit about that personally, and a lot about it in terms of helping clients and their parents reduce their risk. Restructuring mortgages. So often people come to me and they're talking about their existing mortgage, and they talk about a refinancing, but actually what they mean is restructuring potentially, or maybe just refixing where they are. So again, one of the things we do at this, ILG Smarter Mortgages, is take the lingo out of the lending market and just really try and simplify it for you as much as we can. But restructuring mortgages could be a way to help you manage with a reduced income or maybe a redundancy, and being prepared for those things by having some surplus in the bank or having a flexi facility. There are all the types of things that we can do to help. And real key that people often miss out is flexibility of early repayment. And the other thing is certainty of cost. So spreading your risk, having a certainty of cost in terms of those mortgage repayments. Maximum loan approvals. So currently what I'm finding is a year or so ago, when I was running the numbers for people, the potential lending amount was quite different. than what potentially you might be able to get now. That's because lenders' servicing criteria have changed due to what's going on in the world right now. So, it may be that you may not be able to borrow as much as you previously might, or that you want to borrow, especially if you've got a price in mind in terms of the purchase of a house. To some extent, the amount you can borrow, with the lender that you want to use, maybe is what it is. And you may need to adjust your expectations in terms of what you buy. You may have been looking for a 3-bedroom property in a school zone on the North Shore if you're in Auckland, and then you may need to consider buying a 2-bedroom property out West Auckland that's a little further away if you want the opportunity to still buy. So it's about adjusting your expectations or your wants and needs to be able to try and get into this property market, which is pretty challenging and going up at a great rate of knots for now. Max, pre-approval. So I've talked about this a lot over the last few months. I talk about it on my weekly roundups. Pre-approval. So one of the things about a pre-approval is a formal letter of offer from a lender on how much you can borrow. And there's nothing like when the rubber hits the road and they say, this is what I'm prepared to lend you. So it is absolutely something that I recommend clients get before they go shopping. And at the moment, people are shopping without pre-approvals, thinking they can buy a property at a certain amount, when in reality is they may not be able to. So to eliminate heartache and frustration, please, work with an advisor, come and talk to us, and let's get you a pre-approval for whatever that amount might be. Helping people buy their own place to call home is something that we absolutely love. And if you need some assistance, well, basically I recommend that if people are going direct to a lender or using an advisor, it's really great to actually get someone working alongside you. And you know what, the value that I add as the Smarter Mortgage Lady is I have had experience in real estate. I have been a property investor. I own my own home, and I would love to help you save time and money. It's a real key thing, the essence of what I do. And the way to do that is to pick up the phone and call me, to email me, to ask for assistance. And if we can help you, we will walk alongside you, hold your hand, and be there to answer all your questions. Spreading your risk, I talked about it before. Potentially, you may look, because of the low interest rates, to just fix all of your mortgage on one term for the best interest rate that you can get right now. I know there's lots of conversation about the low interest rates and how they might even go lower, but what happens to your budget if the interest rates go up by 0.5%? That means thousands of dollars per annum, and that can have a massive effect on the way that you live your life. And we really want you to have a home and a comfortable lifestyle. And you can't do that if you were scraping and pinching pennies to try and pay your mortgage. That is not a great position to be in. So how can we actually make it a smarter mortgage journey for you? Getting prepared early, particularly if you are going to buy a property in a trust or in a look-through company, an investment property company. It's really important, and I know I say really important a lot, but this is really important. I have had some clients this week who are settling on a purchase of a property where the setup of the entities happened late. It happened after the purchase of the properties. There's anti-money laundering things to do. There's foreign tax residency. There's so much paperwork involved with proving who you are and who that entity is and what they do before you can actually get loan documents and before you can buy that property or transfer that property into that entity. And I don't want that stress for you. I don't want that stress for me. And I don't want that stress for your lawyer. So that is not good for your health. So we need to do those things as quickly and smoothly and efficiently as we can, because it's all about a smarter mortgage journey. We've written a little bit. We often write posts about, little bits and pieces of what's going on in the world, as well as, things that relate to your mortgage. So please check out our Facebook page. Please check out our weekly roundups, because they're a summary of clients that we've been talking to and working with and going into bat for, and that might just resonate with you in your journey to buying a place to call home. And we all want to pay off our mortgage faster. And there was a really great article that I shared over this month from Katrina Shanks, who is the CEO of Financial Advice New Zealand, who is my professional body. And we all want to know how to pay off our mortgage faster, save money, keep it in your back pocket rather than the lenders. And sharing is caring in terms of those great tips and tricks. So if you ever have any, please comment and feel free to share them back with us as well, on ways that you've paid off your mortgage faster, because it's really great to be able to help people do that. I know it's a little terrifying, but it's only 8 weeks until Christmas. And the week before, legal offices close. I know a number of lenders are around sort of over the statutory, except for the statutory days. But if you want to buy now and settle before Christmas, you need to get a wiggle on, because it could take you 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks to do some due diligence on a property or wait for the auction, and then 4 weeks to settle. So there isn't a lot of time to buy now and settle before Christmas, and potentially you might be buying now and settling after Christmas. But again, we're here to chat, here to help, and just a phone call or an email or a text away. And I always love sharing, again, tips and tricks, budget saving tips. Again, we've posted about some of these over the month. But if any of you have great things that you've done in ways of actually saving money, please feel free to comment and share those as well. Again, it's been a tough year for people. We know that a lot of us have had some low times, and I think that anything we can do, going into Christmas to help each other financially would be really nice to share. Let's share the positive stories about ways that we can do things better, stronger, faster. So that's the summary of the month. It's been pretty hectic here from the Smarter Mortgage Ladies side, but we're loving helping people into their own place to call home. We love saving time and money for people. Nothing spins our wheels more than getting people the best pricing, best interest rates, and making your mortgage journey smarter. So please get in touch if you want some advice and some help. And mostly our advice is free to you, and we'd absolutely love to help. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.